Hello, my fellow knowledge lovers, and welcome to the next episode of the Book Trivia Podcast, where we delve along the shelves to get the insider goss on books we love. I'm Jess, and here's the smarty pants of the gang, Rach.
Hello, Jess. How are you?
Good, thank you. If you're looking for a highbrow podcast discussing themes and narrative, I hate to say it, but it's best you turn off now. Instead, we love to get down to the nitty-gritty and provide you with interesting book factoids you can wow your friends with. Today, we're going between the sheets in more ways than one with The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, published in 2017. But before we get into it, let's do a round of general book trivia, shall we, Rach?
Yes, I think we should. So, should I start?
Yeah.
Okay, question 1 for you, Jessica. What book begins with the line, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times"?
A Tale of Two Cities.
Oh,
Charles.
yes, correct.
Yes, Charles Dickens. I love that book.
I've never
We should
read
do it for a podcast.
Okay.
My one, I've gone hopefully a bit easier than last time. In Matilda, what is Miss Trunchbull's first name? Are you familiar with Matilda?
I am familiar. So, Miss Trunchbull, her first name. It gets written on the chalkboard, doesn't it?
Yeah. Starts with A.
Agatha.
Agatha, very good.
Oh,
very good.
Okay. Question 2 for you. Ian Fleming, who wrote the James Bond books, he was posh, English, and a former World War II spy. Okay?
Yeah.
He was friends with a fellow author who was posh, English, and a former World War II spy and he also collaborated with that person. Who am I thinking of?
John Le Carre?
Maybe, I don't know. But I was thinking of Roald Dahl.
Oh, Roald Dahl!
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay.
I've got a bit of trivia for you, extra trivia.
Yeah, go on.
So Ian Fleming didn't actually like writing that much. He was quite lazy. So he came up with this idea for a murder story and he gave it to Roald Dahl and said, "Here, you can write it." So Roald Dahl wrote it, and it's a short story of Roald Dahl's called Lamb to the Slaughter.
Okay.
So, yeah, he was just like, "I'm too lazy to write this. Here's the idea," and gave it to me. Isn't that funny?
That's right. Yeah, and actually it's funny because Roald Dahl did write other books. Like, you always just think of him as the children's books. But, yeah, he did write, like, pretty adult books that were creepy AF.
Yes.
Love it. Shall I go to my next clue? So, which Russian novel features the character Prince Mishkin?
Oh, Russian novel, Prince Mishkin. I don't know that many Russian novels, so I'm just going to guess Anna Karenina.
Wrong.
Oh.
It is one of friend of the pods, Fyodor Dostoevsky. Do you know? Can you guess which one?
Well,
and it's not Crime and
Punishment. So the only ones I know, the brothers Karamov? No.
Wrong.
What else did he write? I don't know.
It's The Idiot.
Oh, The Idiot.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember that.
Good try. Good try.
See, I've made mine nice and easy for you. If you don't get this...
Well, I didn't even get the Roald Dahl reference, so...
If you don't get this, we can't be friends.
Oh, no.
Name the author of the beloved Babysitter's Club books.
Oh, man, I should know this. Give me the initials.
It starts with A, the first name A, and surname M.
I'm going to kick myself when you say it because I loved those books when I was a kid. I have no idea. Anne Milligan.
Anne M. Martin.
Anne M. Martin. Yeah, I loved them when I was a kid. All right, and let me finish with my last question. What book won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 2015? And the hint is we did read it at book club one year.
Pulitzer Prize 2015.
Yeah.
2015. I need a clue.
Okay, it's a war novel, and it was. Do you want the author? Because that'll give it away.
Is it an Australian author?
No.
Okay. Is it a male author?
Yes.
Is it about a blind French girl?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What is that book called? The The Light Between the Oceans, or the light?
That's the Aussie author, but the one, so Anthony Doerr was
Yeah,
the author,
yeah.
and it's All the Light We Cannot See.
All the Light We Cannot See. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
very
I
good.
was
You knew
trying
it.
to think of that. I wasn't in book
And
club when you did that, so
oh, okay.
but I have read it.
Anyway, a fun related fact is just 3 years earlier in 2012, the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction was not awarded because the 20-member Pulitzer board could not reach a majority consensus on any of the 3 books nominated by the jury. So it was the first time in 35 years they couldn't come to a consensus. And the books they were tossing up between was David Foster Wallace's The Pale King, Karen Russell's Swamplandia, and Dennis Johnson's Train Dreams. I've heard of none of them.
Oh, no, they all sound like stinkers. No, that's sad. Imagine like if you got nominated and then nobody won. That's quite sad.
Yeah.
Oh well. Let's begin the episode. So, as Jess mentioned, the book we're looking at in detail today is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So, if you haven't read it, be warned, the rest of the podcast is going to contain spoilers, and it's a really good book with a plot twist at the end, so you should read it first. So, anyhow, the book is about a fictional golden age of Hollywood star, the now elderly Evelyn Hugo, who gives an exclusive scoop of her entire life story to an unknown journalist, Monique Grant. Evelyn's life story is recounted by her telling Monique about each of her 7 husbands, with a massive plot twist at the end for the reader and for poor Monique. Jess, what have you got for me in your box of facts?
Yeah, so let's start off with a fact about the author herself. Taylor Jenkins Reid. So she was born in Maryland in 1983, and when she was 12, her family moved to Massachusetts. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly. She has said that as a child she wasn't all that fond of reading, and it was only when she read Roman Fever by Edith Wharton. I haven't read this one. I don't know if you have. But she read that in a literature class in high school, and that's when she actually started to enjoy novels for the fun of it. So there we go.
So have you read Seven Husbands of Evelyn Warhouse? God, you've put me off. Have you read this before? Did you like it?
Yes, I had already read it. I had to look back at my Goodreads, but it was in 2022, so not that long ago, but when we were all sort of coming out of that COVID haze. And luckily I have a goldfish memory, so I couldn't remember any of it, even including the twist at the end. But yeah, I think at the time I'd just read Daisy Jones and the Six, and I loved her style of writing so much that I bought a whole bunch of her back catalogue. I bought 7 Hussies, Malibu Rising, One True Loves, just to see if they all had the same spark. And yeah, I basically loved the way that she shows you straight into the action and lets the characters develop alongside the unfolding plot. But I found that the ending lagged a little bit. Well, I felt with the melodramatic scenes between Evelyn and Celia. We'll see how you felt about it. And pretty much felt the same way the second time round as well. What about you, Rach? What did you think?
Yeah, so I read it only a couple of years ago too, and the first time I inhaled it, and I've inhaled it again for the podcast. Loved it both times. And I think, because I grew up watching movies from that era whenever I had a chance. Do you remember the Bill Collins midday movie?
Oh, I do. I love that you love that though.
Yeah, like anything, like Fred and Ginger, Grace Kelly, Audrey Hepburn, Jean Kelly, any of those kind of golden age stars. I loved watching those
beautiful
movies. And like stories about Marilyn Monroe, I've always been intrigued by. So this was very much my cup of tea. Yeah,
I bet. So the book goes into quite a bit of detail about Evelyn's sexuality and the fact that she doesn't identify as a lesbian, the distinction being that she's bisexual, as she's loved romantically and sexually people of both genders. Well, my fun fact to start this segment off is that in a 2025 Time interview, Taylor Jenkins Reid stated that just like our main heroine, Evelyn, she herself also identifies as a bisexual. So no wonder she was able to provide realistic descriptions of Celia and Evelyn's chemistry alongside the passion she had for some of her other husbands, eh? That said, she is currently married to her screenwriter husband, Alex Jenkins Reid, and they live together with their daughter, Lila, in Los Angeles. I love the fact that they both have that double-barreled surname. The equality.
Oh, it's half of it her surname and half of
Yeah.
okay.
So good, huh?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Anyway, let's go through the rough structure of the book, and which is basically her 7 husbands, and then we can give our thoughts. So,
Sounds good.
Starting with husband number 1, Ernie Diaz. He is Evelyn's ticket out of Hell's Kitchen and into Hollywood. And I felt a bit sorry for poor Ernie. I know he was a chauvinist and he wanted Evelyn to be a housewife, but Evelyn had actually pretended that she wanted to be a housewife to get that ticket to Hollywood. So I was kind of glad that Taylor Jenkins Reid gave him a bit of a happy ending. She mentions that he had ended up with a 50-year marriage or a really long marriage and lots of kids and grandkids. Have I
agree.
missed
I
anything?
think no, and I would just say I think out of all of the 7, he's probably the least blameless. Oh, maybe not actually.
He wasn't that nice, but she kind of...
He wasn't the worst.
Yeah, and she'd been misleading and deceptive to him, so you kind of can't blame him. Okay, husband number 2, we've got Don Adler, the domestic terrorist. I thought it was really good writing to show that Don was the first man that Evelyn had proper
Sexual attraction to.
For, and I also liked how the book showed that the power dynamics of old Hollywood. Like, he was such a big star that he could have her completely
shut
blacklisted.
Down.
Yeah. Anything else we should mention about John? No? Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Okay, husband number 3, Mick Reaver. He appears a lot across the TJR universe. And he's definitely a mix of like Mick Jagger, Tommy Lee, Frank Sinatra, like any rock star you can think of. There's a bit of...
I definitely had Mick Jagger in my mind when I was reading him.
Yeah.
Like leather pants.
Yep. Skinny. So it's a fun interlude in this book to have that character there, and I really enjoyed Evelyn revealing the truth of how hard she'd played and manipulated him, from the Vegas lure to the starfish. The starfish sexing on the marriage night.
Sexing.
Did you enjoy seeing him pop up?
Yeah. You've ruined my fact that's coming up, but yes.
That's okay.
Let's keep going.
Okay, so husband number 4 is Rex North. So he was a pure business deal. And I loved that detail that Evelyn was getting into producing with Harry. So she had to create a wave of publicity to push the ticket sales to Anna Karenina. So she's like, well, what can I do? I'll marry Count Vronsky. She's such a clever manipulator. Like, she would really give Don Draper and Peggy in Mad Men a run for their money.
And I think the difference with this one was that he was in on it too. So it wasn't like she was playing him. They were both playing the system.
Yeah, that is the difference. And I think that's why it went so smoothly for both of them. Like, they both got exactly what they'd agreed and what they wanted out of the deal. But he's fairly forgettable, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not much else to say. Is there anything else to say? No.
Nah.
Okay.
And on we go.
Husband number 5 is Harry Cameron, and he's one of the great loves of Evelyn's life. I thought this was a beautiful part of the book where the 4 of them are just so happy in their marriages in New York. And I love anything warm and fuzzy, obviously, in the book. So I would have liked a little bit more detail about the conception of their daughter, Connor, because that was probably the only thing. But they do it the biblical way, and I'm like, why are they not turkey basting it? I don't understand.
And not only that, but if that was the case, like, I doubt it would have just happened straight away. So would Celia? I don't think Celia would have been super happy with them having to do it over and over.
Yeah, I was like, surely you would just go down to the doctor and turkey based, like, scientifically, and because they're also best friends. I can't imagine.
I know.
Like,
pretty
once
awkward.
You're friends with someone, it's a bit... Anyway, and also, like, the previous time that had broken Celia and Evelyn up with Mick Reaver. So I'm like, why is she fine with it now? Anyway, so that's Harry Cameron. Anything else we can say about him?
Nah.
Okay.
Keep going.
And then husband number 6 is Max Girard. This is a tricky one because I don't think Evelyn would have not realised that he was in love with, not with her, but with her image until after she'd married him. Like, I could understand that storyline if she'd been in her 20s or 30s, but she's mid-40s, she's a mum, she's a successful producer, she's been manipulating people since she was like 12 or 13. It just didn't fit in with the book.
Well, the way I read it was she was just having a bit of a heartbreak over, like, obviously the whole thing with Celia had broken down.
Yeah.
And I think he represented something safe to her. And she did. I felt genuinely she felt he was in it for the right reasons until she realised that he wasn't. So
yeah. Well, I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, so I'll go along with it. But I thought I would have preferred if he'd gotten into the marriage and then died really quickly in the marriage from a heart attack. I think that would have been better.
Okay.
It's my personal opinion. And then husband number 7 is Robert Jameson, so Celia's brother, and that's another classic platonic beard for Celia and Evelyn. He's just a lovely guy. I thought the part about him getting the ready-made family and being a father figure to Connor was really lovely. You can tell I like the warm and fuzzies. Yeah. And obviously Evelyn and Celia getting back together for the 3rd time and actually making it work is very heartwarming. So another fave for me on Robert Jameson. Okay. So
let's rate them, shall we? It sounds like I can probably guess what your rating is, but let me go first. So caveat is it was a bit of a tough one for me because honestly I pretty much hated all of her partners, including Celia.
Okay.
But okay, I'll go for a worst to best. So at worst, at number 7, I've got Don Adler. He has to be last for hitting a woman. Yeah. Sorry, but even with the redemption arc, I'm not having one bar of it. Sorry, it's just not a no-go, non-negotiable. In 6, I'm popping in Ernie Diaz in there. He was, as you already kind of mentioned, he was a bit of a non-event. 5 and 4 is so indistinguishable for me. I've put Mick and Max, the M&Ms. Yeah. Again, not all that interesting. Number 3, I popped Robert Jameson, so that's Celia's brother. But I knew he was a nice guy, but again, he was too intertwined with Celia for me to put him in there as top 2. So it only leaves 2 people, Harry Cameron and Rex North. I'm imagining you're probably thinking I put Harriet Cameron in as number 1, but I've put him in as number 2.
Ooh.
And the reason for that is I did love him and I love their arc, but I did not love him being a douchebag drunk at the end, crashing the car, killing a man. So I've dropped him off. He can't be number 1 in my eyes, which leaves old Rexy. Sexy Rexy as number 1. The reason I've put him in there is I just felt he was the closest match to Evelyn in terms of what she wanted out of marriage. She didn't ever want love from these guys. It was this honest business relationship. I mean, they even had some chemistry there because they did almost sleep together. Mm-hmm. And they both left the marriage with no scars. So I felt like it was the most evenly paced there. How about you?
That is funny because I've put him as my worst.
Yeah, we're always so different. Go on, give it to me.
It's just so forgettable. It's just a nothing. So I can't even remember Rex. So you're 7. And then,
so funny.
Ernie is number 6. Same reason. Just very forgettable.
He was my 6 too, I think. Yeah.
And then number 5, Don, for the same reason as you. Like he's awful.
I can't believe you've put him in above other people though when he was a woman basher.
Yeah, but being forgettable is the worst crime. No, No, you're right. I should have made him number 7 for being a woman basher. I can't redo it now.
Yeah.
But yes, I've put him 5 because he was nasty, and then I've put Max Gerard as 4 because he was a different type of nasty in my opinion.
More insidious.
And then number 3, because I love him from all the books, I've put in Mick Reaver, and it was fun to watch him get played. I thought it was fun. So that's number 3 for me. And then number 2, Robert Jameson, because I love my warm and fuzzies. And number 1, Harry, because I kind of understood why he was an alcoholic after the
love of his life had died.
Yeah. And
But don't go
not that
and
I'm
kill someone in a car.
true. Yeah, I should have rated him down for that. So yours is probably better.
All right, and on that note, let me finish with a fun fact. However, as I've already mentioned, Rach has ruined it.
Sorry.
No, so for fans of TJR, you're not going to be surprised to hear this, but if you've already read some of her back catalogue, there is a reoccurring character that turns up in at least 3 of her books. I was going to ask you, Rach, if you knew, if you could guess who it was, but spoiler alert, we've already mentioned it. So Mick Reaver, that old sly dog. In Seven Husbands, he is one of the husbands. He's the father of Nina Reaver in Malibu Rising. He's mentioned in passing in Carrie Soto, and he also has a notable cameo in Daisy Jones. Not to mention that Taylor Jenkins Reid has also written a short story called Evidence of an Affair, in which he is the main character's husband. So, yeah, so a little bit of interesting there.
She loves Mick Reaver.
She does, and
Yeah.
it's believed Jenkins Reid puts him in most of her stories so that her narrative universe has stories that overlap and provide a more rich and complex context for her readers. Plus, as a reader, it is a nice little Easter egg to get a character to pop up in a book, don't you think?
Yeah, I like that. It does enrich the universe of her.
Yeah.
So let's do some silly questions. Would you rather be a world famous, fabulously wealthy movie star like Evelyn Hugo, but carry a lifelong burden of having covered up a crime and destroyed a family to protect someone you love? Or would you rather live a modest, quiet life with no fame, no fortune, but a completely clear conscience and no regrets?
Oh, that's tough because I'd love to be rich. Oh man, do I just go for the money? I really love to go for the money. No, I'll take the boring, modest life because I think the guilt would eat me inside out, probably.
Well,
What about you, Rach?
I would use all the money for therapy. I'd want to be, no, I don't
Maybe
think
I
I'd
should
want to
do.
be famous. I wouldn't mind being rich though. That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 2. Would you rather marry a gay guy who you were just friends with and be secretly alone and lonely behind closed doors, but adored in public? Or would you rather seem single to the public, but have a secret relationship that you can never admit to, hidden behind closed doors?
Surely the door number 2. Like, I think you would rather have love than not love, right?
I don't know. It depends who you are. I actually don't know what I would pick for that question. Because I do like gay men. I don't know. I don't know. I don't mind being single either. I don't know. Can't choose. All right. One quick last one. Would you rather be famous for the sexiest movie scene ever filmed or famous for the worst acted movie scene ever filmed?
Sexy. Bring it on. I'll show my boobie. I don't mind.
Well, I'm
What
a
about
bad
you?
actress, so I'd rather be famous for the worst acted scene.
Did you know Taylor Jenkins Reid's first job out of college was at a casting agency, Rach?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she worked with them for 3 years. In fact, the 2 casting directors she worked for were both women, and she's still in regular contact with them. And she says that they have supported her throughout her entire career. But she worked at the casting company for 3 years, and it was quite stressful. So she quit and took a desk job at a studio for a few years. Then she moved to an entertainment company. So no wonder most of her books are around the entertainment industry, as she would have had pretty good insider knowledge of the casting couch, don't you think?
Yeah, that makes sense. She knows the industry really well and how PR works and everything.
Definitely comes through in her books.
Yeah, yep. So what I wanted to talk about this episode was the love of Evelyn's life, because we've talked about her 7 husbands, but we haven't talked about her only wife, Celia St. James. I can't believe you don't like Celia. It's funny.
I know, I'm sorry.
So we're going to talk about Evelyn and Celia's relationship. So in the book, Celia is a lesbian, but Evelyn is confirmed as bisexual. And this puts a lot of tension into their relationship because Celia is really insecure and jealous about Evelyn's bisexuality. So sometimes she tries to ignore that part of Evelyn. or sometimes she just cuts off the whole relationship when she can't handle the jealousy and the closeting. Um, so there's a part in the book where Monique asks Evelyn if she's a lesbian, and Evelyn says to Monique, quote, "Don't ignore half of me so you can fit me into a box." And then Monique feels really bad because people always assume that Monique is black, even though Monique's mum is white. So she understands how annoying it is to have people ignore half of your composition as a person. So I thought that was an interesting exchange in the book. But I mean, tell us how you feel about Evelyn and Celia. What did you think?
Really want to? Yeah, so no surprises, but I didn't love Celia as much as some readers do, and I loved it as a plot device because it's a really clever intrigue to call the book "The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo," and then for the love of her life to be none of them. But Celia came across as really clingy, and I kind of felt like Evelyn did most of the sacrificing to keep their relationship hidden. Celia said she wanted to be open, but I honestly think if it had cost her the Oscars that she'd won, I think she would have hesitated too. Like, Evelyn was doing the heavy lifting there.
Yeah, I think Celia was very idealistic and Evelyn was very pragmatic.
Yeah,
So,
and it felt really uneven. It felt like Evelyn was the one that was carrying that heavy burden. Evelyn understood the assignment.
yeah,
Celia hated her for it.
yeah, but I like, as someone who is quite idealistic, I understand Celia. But I don't know, like, but I understand that people find me annoying for being idealistic
But
and
the
not
other
pragmatic.
And the reason I have only ever given it 4 out of 5 stars is because of that cheesy bedroom marriage at the end. I just can't stand that. I was like, oh my God, with like so much cheese.
I thought it was cute. I quite like a bit of like saccharine sweet cheesiness. Anyway, speaking of bisexuality and books, I actually think this might be the only book I can remember reading where the main character is bisexual. And actually confirms it in the pages of the book, because I was trying to think, and I think maybe the only other book which has the bi main character is Lisbeth Salander in the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo
yes.
books.
Yeah.
But it's not really confirmed in the book. Like, she just kind
No,
of
it's
sleeps
just
with
alluded
men
to.
and sleeps with women, and they don't really explicitly say anything about her sexuality in the books. But if you think, if you agree that storytelling is probably the only way to get people to imagine being another different person, like walking a mile in somebody else's shoes, and obviously I'm excluding Twitter and the whole internet because that's a really empathetic place to be.
Yeah.
But books and stories are the only way I've found to live different people's lives. So one week you might be a blind teenage girl in France during World War II, and then the next week you might be a knight getting dressed in a suit of armour to go into battle. And I think it's weird that I've only read 2 books with bi characters so far in my life, given how old I am. Can you think of any books I might have missed?
No, I think you're right about that. I think there's heaps of books that have gay main characters or side characters, but very rarely do you get one that is both.
Yeah, because I was thinking like maybe Picture of Dorian Gray, or like going right back into ancient Greece, like Heracles and Achilles.
Oh, you've got to get some ancient Greece in there.
I just can't think of any books.
Achilles, yeah, actually, the Madeline Miller Achilles does talk to that a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you read that one?
No, I haven't.
Because they talk about his best friend being the love of his life, who's a guy.
Patroclus?
Yeah, Patroclus. Oh, I pronounced it wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
But then he does have relationships with women as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just weird that it goes ancient Greece, and then Taylor Jenkins Reid. But like maybe Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones, but he's not really a main character. So anyway, trivia, you've already sort of stolen my thunder, but after Taylor Jenkins Reid, she was criticised for being a straight married woman and writing this character. But then, yeah, she subsequently came out as queer in an interview, the one you mentioned earlier. And in that interview, she recalled growing up as a tomboy, falling for a boy as a teenager and then falling for a woman in her early 20s. And she said this was the late 90s, so nobody was talking about bisexuality. And if they were, it was to make fun of people. The messages about bisexuality were, you just want attention, or it was a stop on the way to Gayville. And she found that very painful because she was being told she didn't know herself, but she did. So,
Yeah, I can imagine that would be very confusing, especially for a younger kid.
yeah, but it sounds like she does know what she's talking about and she does have the right to write this character. So I'm sure once she came out, it shut everyone on the internet right up, and they all just
I'm sure they shut up.
Yeah. And they're all just chill about it now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But as a reader, I thought the tension between Celia and Evelyn's sexualities was written in a way that I could really feel that tension. Because, you know, one being bi and one not. But have you got another fact or piece of trivia?
Yeah, let's end. We've got two more facts, don't we? I've got one and you've got one. So the first one I've got is related to the film and TV angle. So in an interview, Reid said that when she was writing the Seven Husbands book, she was listening to a podcast called You Must Remember This by Karina Longworth. She said that she listened to all the episodes from start to finish and back again because it's all about the scandals and events from classic Hollywood. Talk about thorough research for the book. Have you listened to that podcast, Rach?
I have. I've never heard of it, but it sounds good. Have
I
you?
have. Yeah, that's why I was so it's really good. You should definitely listen to it. But if you love all the old school, old Hollywood stars, that's what they talk about in there. So
oh, wow, yeah, I'll have to check that out. Did you know that this book is a major bestseller? Over 2 million copies have been sold, but it was initially published in 2017 and only did okay. And then it blew up majorly 4 years later in 2021, and Taylor Jenkins Reid had no idea why. So she got an email from her agent showing she was on the New York Times bestseller list in 2021 from her 2017 book. And she's like, I think I'm reading this wrong. And then she spent 2 weeks puzzled as to why her book had suddenly become so popular. And then her manager finally figured it out. And he's like, oh, there's this thing called Book Talk. And he showed her all these young women reading it and loving her book because of the queer storyline.
Oh, beautiful.
And she was like really proud. She's like, oh, all these young women are reading my book and sharing it because there was a queer character. So
love that. So, Rach, did you know that Evelyn is being adapted by Netflix into a movie? Yeah, it was originally going to be made into a mini-series by Freeform Entertainment. However, as of March 2023, Netflix picked up the project. The director is reportedly going to be Maggie Betts, and the script is being co-written by Liz Tigelaar. She's the one that previously wrote the screenplay for Little Fires Everywhere, you know, the Celeste one?
Yep.
Yeah. And they haven't announced who will play any of the characters yet, but some of the names that have come up is Ana de Armas, and Sofia Vergara to play Evelyn. Who would you cast as Evelyn, Rach?
Yeah, so Sofia Vergara is a good one, but because Evelyn has Cuban heritage, I was thinking someone Latino, but Ana de Armas is very pale, and in the book,
you'd have to.
In the book, she's got really, really dark brown, golden skin. So I was thinking maybe Eva Mendes. Because she's got darker skin. I don't know if she's Cuban. But then if we're not going Latino, I would actually go Beyonce because Beyonce looks stunning. She looks stunning with white blonde hair against her skin. And that's what Evelyn Hugo's thing in the book was. Like, she had really dark skin and really, really blonde hair.
Beyonce has too big a bouquet, my friend.
That's okay. That's okay. She can just have a
They'd have to strap that butt up somehow.
Yeah. But for the older Evelyn, I was thinking, like, Sophia Loren, she's probably too old now.
Yeah, she would have been the main. Even if she is, like...
She's way too old. Or like Raquel Welch, she'd still be around.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who do you
Although
think?
I guess Evelyn is old. Like, they could definitely play the older Evelyn.
Yeah, because she's in her 80s, I think.
Yeah,
in the book.
It's just the younger ones we think of.
Who have you got for me?
So the first person who came to mind for me is J-Lo.
Oh, yes, she'd be
Because
good.
she's Latino,
Yep.
she's Jenny from the block, and she's got those scrappy beginnings she could draw from, not to mention that she's also had 4 husbands, so she's not far off from old
True.
Evelyn.
Yes.
The only problem is the same as Beyonce.
Oh, she's got
She's
a big
got
bum.
quite the derriere. Yes,
I
so they'd have
I
to
don't think she
CGI
should
off
have
it.
written a Cuban with no bum. Like,
I
how are they going
know.
to cast that?
I know. And I found it hard to imagine that too, because you always imagine the boobs with the butt. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk fan obsession. So if you actually type in 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo into Google, and you won't be surprised to see that there's pages and pages of results that fans have dedicated to this book. It's whether it's on Reddit, Facebook, not to mention thousands of reviews and summaries. You also mentioned Book Talk, of course. It even has its own fandom.com page where they list out the biographical information about Evelyn, her aliases, her age, birth year, date of death, etc. It's like they think she's a real person. It's pretty crazy how wild the fans go about this book. But yes, on that note, on a side note, did you know that TJR was inspired by a real life old time actress to write Evelyn? Can you guess who that was, Rach?
Well, I have a suspicion of my own, but I don't know who she was using as inspiration.
So in an interview, Taylor says, when I read Ava Gardner's lost memoir, which was told through her interviews with her ghostwriter, I felt like it was the perfect premise for a book about a fictional actress spilling secrets. I wanted to give this actress a stunning love story that the public never knew about, and that's when the story started to take shape.
Wow, I did not have Ava Gardner in mind.
Who did you have?
It reminded me of Elizabeth Taylor because obviously she had
Oh,
7
yeah.
husbands, 8 marriages because she married one husband twice. And she was also really good friends with Montgomery Clift, who was a famous Hollywood star and publicly closeted gay guy. He was privately out. But Montgomery Clift had a terrible car accident leaving a party at Elizabeth Taylor's house. Elizabeth Taylor rushed to the accident site. She pulled his broken teeth out of his throat to prevent him from choking on them. And then she confronted and threatened all the paparazzi who were there. And they'd arrived and taken photos of his face because it had all been smashed up. And whatever she said, I don't know what she said to the paparazzi, but it worked because to this day, there are still no photos of his damaged face anywhere.
Wow. Well, she must have been drawing from that too. That's too close to...
Yeah, that's very Evelyn Hugo to me. And then also in terms of being a businesswoman, Elizabeth Taylor worked her way to the top of the movie. She was the highest paid actress in Hollywood. I think she got $1 million for Cleopatra, which was the highest anyone had ever been paid. But she hated being owned and controlled by the MGM studio, and when she was out of her contract and she was moving to Fox to make Cleopatra as an independent, she negotiated 10% of profits. And then she had an extramarital affair on the set of the movie with Richard Burton, so the film profits absolutely shot through the roof.
And a bit of Rex Northy there too, it sounds like...
And then later on she was only the second female celebrity to launch a perfume after Sophia Loren. So her perfume collection was what made her a billionaire. Like she was a billionaire when she died. So yeah.
Wow.
But fun fact, after Rock Hudson died of AIDS, Elizabeth Taylor began her own foundation to fund... This isn't a fun fact, this is a sad fact. She began her own foundation to fund research, and she actually lobbied President Ronald Reagan to take the AIDS disease seriously, because Ronald Reagan was a former Hollywood star as well, but he became the president. So in my head she was a bit like had a lot of Elizabeth Taylor in, but I need to read up on Ava Gardner to see how much of her was in there too.
Sounds like she was pulling from all different things, but you got to say Elizabeth Taylor. There's just too much that mirrors the book too, so there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, fun fact. TJR's writing process is that she starts with an idea and she generally knows how the story begins and how it ends, but it's what is in the middle that she doesn't know. She said her first drafts can take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, which I still think is pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then once the initial draft is done, she'll do a second, third, sometimes even fourth draft in a similar manner. Still on the writing process, Taylor Jenkins Reid originally pitched The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo alongside One True Loves, that book, One True Loves. But her editor discouraged the actress idea, saying that books about actresses didn't sell well. And so Reid set it aside and she finished One True Loves instead. But the Evelyn Hugo story just kept growing in her mind. So despite doubts about its commercial success, she eventually decided to write it anyway because the idea felt too powerful and personal to ignore.
I'm glad she wrote it because I think it's a great book.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you said that it wasn't that commercially successful until BookTok picked it up. So I guess they were both right about it. The editor didn't think it was going to go well, and then she was right too. So there you go.
I can't imagine it not being popular. Like, just once you start reading it, you can't stop.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to
Definite page
do
turner.
a bit more of old Hollywood and matching bits up to parts of the book. So in the book, Evelyn has to change her hairline and hair colour. So Rita Hayworth, who was born Margarita Carmen Cancino, was actually made to have electrolysis to raise her hairline to look more white.
Oh, you're
And then
kidding.
she had to lighten her hair. So that really happened. So I'm wondering if she got inspiration there. And then speaking of name changes, so like basically no one in that era of Hollywood had their own name, but famously Marilyn Monroe, Jerry Lewis, Dean Martin, like they all had kind of Jewish or Italian or whatever names and they were made to change them. And then closeted sexuality, there's elements of Rock Hudson there. Rock Hudson's manager Henry Wilson sold stories to the press about his other clients being in jail or being arrested, just
to cover it up.
Yeah, in order to stop stories about Rock Hudson's personal life.
I feel sorry for the other.
I know, he's just
other
selling
clients.
out the smaller stars because obviously Rock Hudson's his main paycheck. But then Rock, at a later time, Rock had to marry Henry Wilson's secretary to stop another bout of rumours from coming out.
It's very sad that they couldn't come out. You can say what you like about our modern society, but at least people can be themselves and love people no matter what.
Well, in Australia,
it is very sad.
They can, yeah. But
yes.
There's another famous example. There's a lot of rumours about Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. A lot of people think that they were both queer and acting as beards for each other. And so their whole, affair wasn't really an affair. She was, I don't know if that's true or not. But then another different bit of the book, Jane Fonda, I think might be a little bit of Evelyn Hugo because she was Barbarella, and she's very tantalisingly naked in that movie. So that reminds me of the Boot on Train comeback from Evelyn. And similar to that, Jane Fonda was directed by Roger Vadim, who was a French man, and he ended up being married 5 times. The first 3 marriages, one was teenage Bridget Bardot, then it was a
creepy
Danish Bridget Bardot lookalike actress, and then it was Jane Fonda. So he just kept marrying like beautiful blonde Bridget Bardot lookalikes, and he was French, so that's very Max Gerard to me. And then the car crash was very Elizabeth Taylor to me. But speaking of the car crash, did you see the twist at the end of the book coming?
Yeah, let's talk about that twist. So I'm sure you've read the book if you're listening in, but just the reminder of what the twist is. So this is where Monique finds out that the man who died in the car at Harry Cameron's drunk hands actually turned out to be her father. And not only that, but the fact that he was either gay or bisexual and was in a relationship with Harry that was serious enough that Harry wanted him to leave Monique's mum for. So, yeah, as far as plot twists go, it's a really good one, especially because there was enough misdirection for most readers to not see it coming. Like, I definitely didn't see it coming.
I
And
didn't see it
I
coming.
totally had forgotten to. Like, when I was reading it again, I probably got to halfway through the book before I remembered that that's what the twist was that was coming up. So, yeah, I thought it was a great twist. But I also did kind of feel like that part of it was a bit rushed. Like, it felt a bit like an art, like she must have known that's how she was going to end up that way. And it was good because you kind of thought, oh, she's got to be a daughter, or like, well, that's what I was going with anyway. I thought she was related to Evelyn in some way. But I felt like Monique's rage really petered out very quickly. Like, if you find out that this is the woman that covered up the death of your father, I just feel like I would have been a lot more angry about it. I don't know. What about you, Rach? What did you
Yeah.
think about the twist?
Well, yeah, it got me the first time. Didn't see it coming at all. And like from a reading point of view, I thought it tied in really nicely with the bisexuality theme, like her dead father turning out to be bi, and there's that whole theme runs through the book. In terms of anger, I think probably Monique's mum would be the angriest, and Monique decides not to tell her mum. So I don't know. I guess
Yeah,
it worked
that's a good point.
narratively for me. I just love her so much. I can't criticize her too much.
You just don't want to hear one bad word about it, do you?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's wrap up with a final round of true or false. I'm going to start us off. So, Jess, true or false? Taylor Jenkins Reid was born in 1984.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to say true.
False. And you actually said her date of birth earlier in the podcast. She was born in 1983, so that was a trick question.
Oh, I should have known that. I'm an 83 girl myself. Okay. Okay. True or false? Taylor Jenkins Reid is a big fan of Madeline Miller's books. We actually talked about Achilles. She attributes the way Achilles was written with the nuances of LGBTQ love stories as part of her writing inspiration. Is that true or false?
It sounds true because you had a lot to say about it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a giveaway. So she's a massive fan of the Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, and she describes herself as a die-hard Madeline Miller fan. She was crazy excited for Circe to come out and was so happy when it was just as good as Achilles. But now she's like all of us, just waiting for another one, right?
So I've only read Circe by Madeline Miller.
Yeah, but there's only two. There's Achilles and Circe.
Well, I haven't read the Song of Achilles, but maybe
Great.
that's
Spoiler
where she
alert,
got
it's
the
great.
idea to make Evelyn bisexual. Maybe she was reading that, thinking, "Oh, this is really good. Why aren't there more bisexual characters in literature?" Okay, my true or false. True or false? Evelyn played the role of Jo March in Little Women in the book.
Oh, no. Yes. Yes, she did. True.
Correct. So
Yeah.
Celia St. James was Beth.
Why are you giving that as a true or false? You're
don't
trying
know,
to test if I read the book.
I wanted to see if I could trick you.
Okay. True or false, the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was on the New York Times bestseller list for over 100 weeks.
Over 100 weeks. That's like 2 years. I don't know. Book Talk. How good is Book Talk? I'm going to say true.
It is false. I think it was there for about 75 weeks, though, all up. That's still a massive achievement.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you had that one in the bag because it was already part of your book talk.
No, I knew it made it on there. I didn't know it was there for 75 weeks. Goodness. Okay, my final true or false. True or false? The most recently published book by Taylor Jenkins Reid is Carrie Soto is Back.
No, it's not. It's Atmosphere because I just bought it.
Correct.
Yay! Yeah. And my last one, true or false. Taylor Jenkins Reid counts extensive background research as an important part of her pre-writing process. For example, for Daisy Jones and the Six, she spent a year learning how to play a guitar and sing fluently in order to get into the headspace of an aspiring songstress. True or false?
That sounds really annoying. I'm going to say false.
It is false. I just made it up because I was running out of good questions.
As if you would take on a whole different job if you were a writer and make yourself be something else for a year. Well, some people would. Okay.
Okay, let's wrap it up with a final question, Rach.
Yeah.
Do you think Evelyn was ultimately a hero, a villain, or just a survivor of her time?
Oh, hero, villain, or survivor of her time. I think, like most people, she's probably a mix of all three. Like, she's definitely a survivor, because she made so much money. Like, she came from nowhere and made so much money. And she's a hero to some because she raised, like, a lot of the money she made, she donated to breast cancer and gay rights in the book. So she'd be a hero to people benefiting from those donations. Obviously a villain to Monique and Monique's mum for what she did to their father. Yeah. So yeah, a mix. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I said as well. I said it's like a weird one because I didn't like totally love her main character or even sort of root for her as you normally would with a character that is beloved because of. I mean, she was great because she owned all of the decisions that she did. But I guess if you're going to choose one, maybe it's say survivor of her time, verging on heroes. Like she was able to have a quite a rich and full life that we take for granted these days with women's lib.
Yeah, and like even in the book, she's like, I don't regret framing your dad.
Yes, I think that's my problem with her. Like it's good that it's honesty.
Yeah, but I guess. Okay, well, you can understand her motivations though, like with Connor and her family and covering everything up. Like she'd been covering things up for so long. You understand the character's motivation for why she did that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right, but you can understand why she did it.
Yeah. Okay, folks, if you've made it this far, you've not only survived all 7 of Evelyn's husbands, but you've also made it to the end of the podcast. Time for us to give you teaser of what's coming up on our next episode. Rach, do you want to kick off with your clue?
Yep, so we are going into outer space to do some breaking and entering next time.
And, well, the obvious reference has to be a giant space cylinder just casually cruising through the solar system. But, okay, if we're being serious, think of humanity unlocking the front door to the most mysterious house ever built, only to find it echoing, silent and waiting.
So that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. And if you like this episode, please like and subscribe. And only if you liked it, rate our podcast on whichever podcasting app you use. Or better still, tell a friend to listen. For more book trivia, find us at booktriviapodcast.com. And you can also follow us on Reddit and Substack where we are Book Trivia Podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to the Book Trivia